Scientists' terrifying new discovery under Antarctica's ice changes everything. Life has its way, and every hidden thing has time to reveal. Curiosity always brings something new, but the actual thing is how vast is nature and how great is the creator that it amazes us every time by showing the alarms of life. Life is precisely here, many miles down in some places where humans can't even imagine living or staying. With this, the great and curious minds of scientists and astronomers struggles to bring out the invention on the face of the world. NASA invests money and time in making spacecraft and space telescopes to find exoplanets and life signals rather than Earth. But that is not the whole. NASA looks towards the sky and beneath the Earth to discover new planets and life signals. For that purpose, NASA scientists spent years and years resting their curiosity. It is commonly said that one of the most restless people in the world is the curious one, and his curiosity only ends with life. This exactly fits NASA scientists, as every day we come to know the terrifying, surprising, and exciting news that gives us chill and happiness. Nothing comes easy, and especially in science. So recently, NASA scientists found out the abundance of life under the half miles of ice. Yeah, you heard it right, under the ice. Excited to know where we are going in the future and what is beneath us? Watch this video to the end, as every part will give you the realization that we are not alone but surrounded by unseen and undiscovered creatures from all sides. Before diving deep into the cold and freezing icy world to find the strange creature, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. Researchers discovered a whopping 77 seafloor dwelling species under an Antarctic ice shelf. This team of researchers belongs to Alfred Wegener Institute in Germany. This discovery gave a hint that this mysterious realm may be far more biologically rich than scientists realized. Before moving towards the icy shelf of Antarctica, let's get some information about this continent. Antarctica is the dream destination of many people due to its beauty and unique features. The world's fifth largest continent has a vast area of approximately 14 million square kilometers, 5.4 million square miles. It has a hard, freezing environment that screams the difficulty of life existence. The size of this continent is not consistent, as there is ice all over. Then in winters, ice expands and size increases twice. If we estimate the ice quantity, then this continent has 90% of the world's ice is in an area slightly less than 1.5 times the size of the United States, or any country equal to the size of the United States. The temperature in this icy continent is shallow, and boiling water instantly changes into the ice cubes. This continent is divided into two regions named East and West Antarctica. East Antarctica is small and has less ice comparatively, while West Antarctica is a chain of frozen islands that stretches all the way to South America's southernmost tip. Okay, so what gave the gesture of life to scientists? In a way, the presence of plants such as mosses, lichens, and algae. The abundance of terrestrial animals, penguins, whales, fish, and invertebrates thrive with plants. There comes the thought of Mercury, the red planet, after knowing the temperature of the Antarctic continent. So on Earth, there is also a continent where life does not exist due to a more arduous winter. But every year, over 4,000 scientists visit this site every summer. Antarctica is primarily a research destination for climatologists, oceanographers, and marine biologists. However, the frozen desert also draws astronomers from all over the world. This is because if you can stand the cold, Antarctica is one of the most beautiful places on the planet to observe the universe. This is due to its dry climate and lack of light pollution. Let's find out what brings NASA to Antarctica. Actually, it is an accidental discovery. We will discuss the timeline of events in the next part of the video. Here we would like to tell you what NASA discovered. NASA scientists record the event with a GoPro camera and find out the solid rock to observe the movement. Griffithson, the research team, watched the footage and noticed a kind of film on the rock, likely a layer of bacteria known as microbial mat. He also noticed the alien-like sponge and other stalked animals dangled from the rock, while stouter cylindrical sponges hugged the surface. He also observed the wispy filaments, maybe a component of the bacteria mat, or maybe animals. The position of the observed rock was also unexceptional, as it is present at the nearest edge of the shelf where ice ends and open oceans begin. Can you imagine the beauty of that edge with your aesthetic eye? If you can, then you can imagine the beautiful scene of this world. So a common question is, what keeps those animals alive? Then there is an expected theory that maybe there's a light and food at the end of the lake, at the right position relative to the rock. In the past, 2018, researchers also collected seabed samples, and they found biodiversity richer than many open water samples found on the continental shelf where there are light and food sources. Another query was asked in this life discovery in the feeding mode of those animals found beneath the icy sheet of Antarctica. Scientists satisfied us by answering the question that these organisms are suspension feeders, meaning they sit in one place on the seafloor, snatching bits of organic matter that float. The researchers suspect they eat algae carried beneath the ice shelf by currents. Lead author Dr. David Barnes, a marine biologist at British Antarctic Survey, says, "This discovery of so much life living in these extreme conditions is a complete surprise and reminds us how Antarctic marine life is so unique and special." Lead study author David Barnes said in a press release, "It's amazing that we found evidence of so many animal types, most feeding on microalgae, yet no plants or algae can live in this environment. To explain the sustainability and chance of life stability of animals under the ice, it may be cold, dark, and food scarce in most places, but the least disturbed habitat on Earth could be the first habitat to go extinct as sub-ice shelf conditions disappear due to global warming. Still watching? Great to know. So we are here at the last part of the video where we will tell you about the timeline of the experiment. James Smith of the British Antarctic Survey, a geologist, comes to Antarctica in summer after traveling 5 hours. He stayed there for 3 months in a freezing temperature. He was there to study the history of the floating shelf. For that, he needed seafloor sediment, which was locked under a half-mile of ice. To get that floating shelf, researchers needed 20,000-liter hot water, and for that they had to melt 20 tons of snow. They pumped that hot water through a pipe that lowered down a borehole. It took them more than 20 hours to melt through the ice inch by inch. Next, they lowered an instrument to collect the sediment along with a GoPro camera, but the collector came back empty. They tried once more, still empty. A single round trip of the instrument took an hour, and it was not an easy job. At the end of the day and the night, when they checked the recording, they came to know the existence of life under half a mile of the ice sheet, as they saw a rock with some clinging and hugging microorganisms. There comes the discovery of life under the Antarctic ice. Discoverers are worried that maybe there will be climate change or we cannot find more about life beneath the ice sheet. So there is a need to research more. With this, the hassle they bear along brings the opportunity to discover other worlds. These findings have implications for the search for life on other planets, particularly on Mars, because Mars, where data reveal the presence of a buried lake of liquid salt water. What are your thoughts on this marvelous discovery of NASA scientists? Tell us in the comments. With this, mention what you want to see more. Then, keep liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thanks for watching. Take care.